Greetings from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Friday, September 30, 2022. Here's an update on our 1947 Higgins Speedster. She came in for a new bottom, and we can see why. She desperately needed one. Here's some of what was used to build the bottom. It's really very strange. Well, I'll hand it over to Joe to take us through.
So what happened is this is a veneered bottom that failed. So what's happening is when you're doing a veneered bottom, there's several thin layers, but in between layers, there's usually a water grade epoxy, or a good glue, or 5200. In this case, the only part where there's any kind of adhesive is on the bottom and on the very top. So in between all these layers, there's nothing that bonds it together other than screws. So we can literally go through and pick out each layer because there is no glue in there whatsoever. So once the bottom got abraded up, water is able to seep in and it was able to go in between all these layers and just completely rot out. When we first started, it was all bubbled up and you can see where it was leaking really bad. And another bad thing is is right here underneath every frame, every batten, there is a layer of fiberglass mat with rosin. That's what they use to adhere the bottom onto the framing, which is a big no-no. I mean, fiberglass and water are not good friends, and especially when you encase it in wood. So we're gonna continue to get all this cleaned up. Rick had made some new framing because if you noticed, there is virtually no framing in this boat except for about every 3 feet. And this right here is what they call their bilge stringer. But if you follow down, their main bilge stringer frames are these battens. And down below that, there's a secondary batten that locks everything in place. So there's really no bilge stringers to this boat whatsoever. So the main framing is all batten and a very few frame.
So what's the plan going forward?
So going forward, we're going to continue. We're going to beef up the bilge stringers, especially for where the engine is. And I'm going to make these solid again. So I'm going to be putting in new pieces of oak longitudinally in between these. And I'm going to bolt them all together so that way everything's locked in very tight. It'll all be 5200 down. Now, my plan for the bottom is to do a traditional bottom of 5200 because all the layers of veneer are actually equal up to what we usually use for Meranti plywood plus Meranti planks. So that theoretically would work, and it would make this boat a lot stronger than the way it is right now, because as it is right now, I wouldn't trust putting another 6-cylinder flathead in this the way that this bottom was.
So, and then we have the transom, which is particle board.
It is particle board. Can't really see it yet, but I don't know if in a previous video we had, but it's not a marine grade particle board or anything. It's literally pressed furniture particle board. I mean, that's with completely wrapped on the exterior with fiberglass and rosin. That's how they made it all watertight. But as you can see, that was not the case with this boat.
Well, we'll keep stripping and keep you up to date. This Higgins is going to be beautiful when we're finished. We will finish her in the Speedster colors. These colors are all wrong. The treatment's all wrong. But she'll be right, beautiful, and look as she did when she left the factory down in Louisiana in 1947. So there's our update on the 1947 Higgins Speedster. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now from Snake Mountain Boat Works.